Hello, hello, hello. Back again to discuss this month's book. If you're on my channel, you probably saw me earlier today talking about geek news. But now I'm here to talk books with my good friend E Boogie. How's it going today?
Good. I'm really excited to discuss this book.
All right, same, because this was my choice, guys. Just in case you forgot, this month we did something different. We did two short stories this month. The first of which being Carmilla, so check that out. And this is our second short story of the month, which is The Dispatcher by John Scalzi. So I picked this book because my fiance introduced me to this author earlier this year, and this was the first of his books that I read, and I really enjoyed his writing style. It's so entertaining and descriptive, and I said I got to share this with E in the book review. So I was very excited not only to reread it, but to share it with you and hear your thoughts about it. I'll just go straight into my star rating because I really enjoyed the book. This is clearly, if I reread it in the same year, I really liked it. I'm giving this a 5-star. This is my second 5-star ever given in book on the lifespan of this show. And I'm giving it that because not only was it like just entertaining to read, but it was such an original concept. I haven't heard of this before. In case anyway, I did have a quick little bit here about what it's about. It says The Dispatcher's 2016 science fiction novel by John Scalzi set in a world where murder is nearly impossible because victims almost always come back to life. So that's just a little snippet. You can pause to read it, the rest. But yeah, I thought it was an interesting concept. I liked that it was set in like this alternative future slash alternate place, but it's like our home, but it's different because of this phenomenon that's going on. And I also like the inclusion represented in the book as a black detective lady. I said, hell yeah, let's let's
Yeah.
read it. Um, but yeah, those are my spoiler-free thoughts. 5 stars for me. I can't like rave enough about this book, in my opinion. But I'd love to hear what your spoiler-free thoughts are, and then we can get into the spoilers.
Yes, I was also very excited to get into this book. I love like first and foremost, I love this month's idea to do these short stories.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like nothing fits better for that than kind of like a noir detective mystery situation, which this fully is.
Mhm.
Um, which is right up my alley. I love a good mystery, love like detective work and kind of following along as one person is trying to discover what's happening, what's going on, who did it.
Mhm.
And I will say that this story was very immersive. It felt very modern in how in the flow and definitely in the language. It was very descriptive. I do agree with that. And I loved the way and albeit briefness of the character development. I really loved the dynamic between Valdez and I can't remember her name, but our female detective
Langdon,
lead.
Detective Langdon.
Thank you, Langdon.
Mhm.
I really loved their repartee and just kind of the flow of any of their dialogue. Um, I it off. I will say this was definitely a relief to read after Carmen.
Hey.
um, I'm very jealous, and this was a great one for me. I I'm not surprised that it got such a high rating from you.
Uh-huh.
I'm also going to follow with a high rating. I'm not going to give it a perfect 5 star. I feel like
Okay.
I'm going to hold out for the perfect book.
Okay.
But I'm definitely going to give it like a 4.6, 4.7. Oh my God, I can't believe I did that. No, I'm just going to give it a straight 4.7, straight
A
4.7.
4.7? Oh, that's
I'm gonna give
really
it a 4.7. It was really excellently done with how short it was. It still was very immersive. We're really led into like this underworld that is developed because of this very original concept of
good.
death kind of being, I want to say, monetized, but also not just that. It's almost exploited
Mhm.
in that not only in the money respect or in the respect of just trying to keep, I don't want to give any spoilers,
Uh,
but we'll get
we
into
can
it.
go into
We'll get
spoilers.
into it. Are we ready?
We are officially in spoiler time because we already gave our rating.
Okay,
All right,
okay.
go
I
ahead.
I really loved how this original concept of people dying only once in 1,000 times if they are intentionally killed
Mhm.
is kind of exploited without anyone understanding why it's happening or what's going on with this. Or I mean, really, it's like a modern day miracle, but it's being used in, you see how that is being used in very different ways. In the
Mhm.
very beginning of the story, it's being used by insurers, which is who our lead person works for, Valdez. He's a
Ah,
dispatcher for the insurance company. Um, in part, it's to extend people's opportunities to live through otherwise fatal accidents
mhm.
or fatal injury. Um, and in other ways, people are, you know, placing bets or whatever they were doing at the college campus where people were
Uh-huh.
just like
Little fight
having
club.
dual fight, yeah, a little weird fight club duels where they're stabbing each other and with legitimate swords, which I'm not gonna lie, sounds very fun. But at the same time, like you're feeling the pain of death. You're being brought back, but it's just like if there's like a weird dark underbelly
Uh-huh.
attached to this concept. And I thought that the way that the story explored all the different ways that these people are coping with this and processing with this new development um, was fascinating. Oh my
Mhm.
god. I thought it was very fascinating. I'm
Yeah.
salivating at how great this book was.
So I agree because it makes you think that people would absolutely play with their lives like this. If this were to happen, there would be underground fight clubs where they're killing each other and coming back. And like I wanted to ask, like, would you chance it? Like for me, I would be scared to death. Like if I like I know you can only die once in like every 1,000, but I would always think, dang, am I about to be that one time? And also in my mind, I would also think about, okay, well, what if this phenomenon suddenly stops? And if you did die before and came back, would you still live? Would you just go back, revert back to your first death if you've been, playing this Russian roulette for however many times until your luck runs out or the phenomenon ends? Like it was so many questions that I had, and I was thinking, what I don't think I would be too scared to even like go to any fight clubs or do anything like that.
I think I would be. I definitely think I'd be too scared to chance it. It's difficult, right? Because it has to be an intentional kill.
Yeah. Uh,
So the only way to kind of explore or even play with this concept is to have somebody ready to kill you and
uh-huh.
ready and on standby to do so. Um, which there's just a lot of like ethically murky things happening in this book, which
Mhm.
I love exploring. Um, but at the same time, there's so much that I can relate to. Like our main story ends up leading to this wealthy man who is
Uh-huh.
in
Mr.
love with his wife.
Mr. Wooldridge and his wife, I wrote it down, and Elaine
Uh-huh.
Wooldridge. Uh-huh.
Yes. And her being, you know, having a debilitating uh, disease, cancer, or whatever that's killing her, and the way that he is able to just, exploit this phenomena in order to extend his time with her, or even not even his time with her, extend her time here. I thought that conceptually while ethically murky, I understood it. I really related to him in just wanting to be able to save her because that's the love of his life, right? Simultaneously, I felt her and related to her and her wanting to be free of this, and just the idea of how many times she was dispatched and how
Yeah.
many times, what it is like to be dispatched and then continuously to be dispatched over a long period of time. It's like
As you're
you have
already
to
sick, with
mhm,
cancer and yeah.
you have to imagine a little piece of you goes with every time. And
Mhm.
that is what I would be ultimately afraid of, that I'm losing a bit of myself every time because I've gone through that traumatic experience of essentially dying and coming back, but dying.
Uh-huh, yeah. Oh,
And the
yeah.
way trauma works, the body remembers.
Uh-huh, mhm, and he did mention how you remember everything up until the point that you're gone, right? So you remember that pain, you remember the fear, so that's scary. I did feel really bad for Mr. Was it good, Woodridge at the end because he was, he loved his wife. He's a
Yeah.
faithful man trying to get his wife, a life again. Um, and yeah, I just kind of felt bad for him once we found out that he was the one responsible. And to learn that in this universe, there are people finding loopholes to the murder situation. Like if you starve someone, like he was doing to the guy, what was his name? Jimmy Albert, starving
Mhm.
him in the basement, he'll come back, but that second time he's not
Mhm.
because the body just failed him. And I thought that was interesting how he explored this world and what other places it could go when it comes to dispatching and all of
That was
that. So
dark. That was
yes,
dark. That and
yeah.
it's like a workaround, but it's also like just imagine dying that way and then coming back completely emaciated, your
Ah,
body literally shutting down all over again.
that's horrible. And even the scene where we had Tony meeting with what's his name? I wrote his name down. Brennan Tawney, the mafia guy trying to go straight,
Yeah,
and how they got him out of the building by dispatching him so no one else could see him leave the building. I said, "Golly!" They threw him down the elevator shaft.
crazy. Yeah.
So this honestly, this is book I would love to see like a mini series or something with this book. Honestly, this is the first of three like short stories in this universe, all centering around Tony Valdez and how things escalate from this first book. And I really enjoyed them all. Um, but you could just read this one and be satisfied with the story. But when I found out there was one, I'm like, oh, okay, this one.
Definitely.
But yeah, I love this book. A couple other things I wanted to mention really quickly. Sketchy Friend. We got that. Oh, the gray. So we have the dispatchers who work above the law, where they're working for insurance companies and yada yada yada. Then we have the ones where it's a little slightly shadier, but not too much. This is where Tony finds himself. And then we have the super like shady ones, and that was where his friend Mason was. He was the one who was originally getting the jobs and all of that. So I also thought that was interesting that it showed like the levels of degrees you can go in this weird rabbit hole of a situation. But anyway, that was the book, guys. It was fantastic. Please
It
read
was
it if you want.
amazing. Yeah.
And join us next month. Do you have a book for that? What's this? Your turn.
Girl, let me tell you something. I've been going down a rabbit hole trying to pick our next book.
Uh,
I have a couple, I will throw out there.
okay.
Of course, I wasn't ready to have them, but I
Chat.
added so many to my wish list. It's just going to be a matter of like narrowing it down. Where is it? Um, but honestly, I'm looking for something that's a little darker.
Okay.
Um,
Tell us
but we'll
more.
see. Right now, I'm looking at Johnny Got His Gun,
Okay.
which is a story about a soldier that has survived a landmine,
Okay.
There's a lot more to it. I don't want to spoil it, but it is pretty. I would say it's up there with kind of one of the classics at
Okay.
this point.
Okay.
Definitely American classic. Um, and I have a couple other ones, but I'll have to narrow down. I'll have to narrow down.
Okay, all right. Johnny Got His Gun is one, and I guess we'll let you guys know what the next ones might possibly be.
Okay, I'll give one more other one.
Okay.
And this one I have seen the movie a million times. It's I would say it's I won't say it's one of my favorite movies, but it's definitely up there with some of the weirder movies I've seen.
Oh God.
So I'm interested to see see what the book offers. It's called A Scanner Darkly.
Scanner Darkly.
A Scanner Darkly.
Okay.
And this one is about an undercover cop who lives in a, I would say, more futuristic world. And he's doing some investigation on where people are getting and where this new street drug is being developed.
Oh.
I would say I would say a more sci-fi element to the story is these cops that are undercover, they don't know each other because when they go into the precinct, the station, they have to put on these suits that cover their entire bodies and that like not shapeshift, but like shift into different people's faces and
Okay.
different affects on an ongoing basis.
Okay.
So their undercover identity is truly like who they are without that suit, but
Mm,
they maintain the undercoverness once they're inside the station by wearing these suits. The movie is insane. It's so
okay.
good. It's got an all-star cast. If you can find the movie, definitely watch it. But I think I'm gonna work that book in at some point. Not sure if it's gonna be next month, but we'll see.
Okay. All right. All right. I'm excited to see what you pick for the month of December. And that's the show, guys. Thanks for watching. Please join us next month. We review these books once a month, usually on the last Sunday of the month. So join us then, and we will talk to you later. Goodbye.
Bye.
See ya.